Alright, welcome to another weekly update at the end of April. This week I'm gonna put in some thoughts of some thoughts of mine and some new, not new ideas, but more like clarification of things I already knew. So I've been again watching more swing trading stuff, and I've re-listened to some things from Mark Minervini and Kulamaji, but this time mostly Mark Minervini, because he's talking a lot about this relative strength and leverage on the rest of the market. And I've understood these things before, but I never seen them on a shorter time frame. But it's kind of cool to now. I'm using the monthly chart on whatever company and the Nasdaq, and to look at relative strength over certain periods. So here, for example, Boeing, from this 0203 bottom, the market did do a higher low, while Boeing did a lower low, but then it reclaimed and actually led, or was one of the leaders during this period, performed much better than the market. And let's see here. Then it didn't do much until this period right here, where it started overperforming again, or outperforming the market. But then it fell out of did a big picture head and shoulders here and fell down. So these leaders can lead, and then they can fall out of they can stop working as a leader and fall back and then not lead for a very long time. And another example is like Tesla, how even from the IPO base here, it had a massive move. Let's see here. So it outperformed the market heavily, but then it fell out of favor for a while, and then it created this long base. So anything else in the market would probably be even better, except for this small period here. But then it started leading again from the COVID lows, and was one of the massive leaders. But now it's actually lagging in the market. So it was a leader, and a lot of people still are in love with Tesla. Of course, at these levels, it's probably really nice for a bounce up to like the 250, 300s for now. But it's probably long ways before this thing is gonna take out the highs. Who the hell knows? But so it was a leader. Then it fell out of favor with the market as it crashed. And when the market started reclaiming, it did as well, but then it fell again. So it's not a leader, especially if you compare with other names. So these are some large cap names that I've can look for on Nvidia, for example. Here is a new true leader, and it's funny to look at from the top here. So it topped out in 2001, 2002, at the same time as the market, but then it bottomed on the exact day as the market, but then when the market consolidated at the lows, it kind of made a new weak high, and then once the market confirmed, or even before the market confirmed, this one exploded out. And while the market was consolidating on this like mid cup and handle, Nvidia was all the way consolidating far above all-time highs. And once the market had a bit of a relief, Nvidia exploded because it was one of the leaders. Same with SMCI, obviously everyone's favorite right now. But this one is even crazier, because if you look at where the market topped here, and you can actually see initially it started dipping a little bit with the market, but then it just reclaimed in a choppy fashion. But as soon as the market showed some strength here at the bottom, this thing probably has some really nice short-term patterns or entries for this move. And I've been studying a lot of names, and like, okay, so if you were scanning the market at, these levels, what are your criteria? And now I'm on the monthly, and you kind of want to look for names that are holding the monthly 9 EMA. And then from there you can maybe add dollar volume. So this one has, let's see, yeah, this one had about $200 million volume in this area. So you can scan for like 50 to 100 million, and then out of these names, which ones are stronger, which ones are faster, which ones are coming out of a big base, all that stuff after a market bottom. And so where am I trying to go with this? Yeah, leverage versus the market, and how leaders can lead, but then they can fall out of favor with the market at times. And I had an example for this. Which one was it? Actually, I don't know exactly which one it was. Doesn't really matter. So after like a very good setup and an extended move, sometimes the leaders can again fall out of favor and the rest of the market catches up. But then once the market starts weakening again, you can see that all this time a leader held up during the consolidations for months and months, and then is setting up again as soon as the market is showing some relief, while the rest of the stocks starts lagging again. And that's when, of course, you want to get into the leaders again. Yeah, because of the institutional support. You know, I've been trading these shit stocks, which I'm gonna get to later, that really don't have any fundamentals at all. They're just pump and dumps and player versus player. And those can work really nice at certain times if you go on the daily chart and 1 hour chart. But I've been a bit too easy on them, like hitting anything that looks a little bit decent. I'm not really getting to where I was going with this, but pretty much I've studied now a bit of this relative strength over the big picture with the bigger companies, and how they go in and out of favor, and how old leaders don't necessarily have to lead the new cycle. They can actually lose percentage versus the overall market. So find the new leaders, don't fall in love with the old leaders, and when times are looking at its worst, you gotta start doing your scanners. And especially like now, since we had this 2-year, or actually 1-year bear market, as soon as the market is closing above the monthly EMA, you gotta look for those big picture scanners. Anyhow, so let's go to my regular charts. Let's not lag, and let's go here, please. Here we go. Okay, so daily, it's gonna weekly, and the 1 hour chart. So I'm watching all of these new leaders now, but you have to be careful not to zoom in too much. Usually you want to wait for at least a shift of the month, and man, this is hard because actually here a good setup here was the reclaim here after the earnings in this area would have held. And if you look on the monthly, where are we? October, this was in November. Is this November? Yeah. Okay. So it was at the almost at the beginning of the new month. So here you might be thinking, when this month is, you know, just starting, that, oh, you have to come down to the moving average, you're gonna have to wait. But then it took some time, but this was one of the entries. Obviously the second really good entry was over here, this formation. Oh, look at this higher highs all this time, higher lows, and they had this dip reclaim and this gap up day. But if you, for example, waited, if you wasn't aggressive, you might have taken it here and you'd be stopped out on this wick here. So it all depends, but all I'm saying is that you gotta look for these. You need to respect the monthly, but a setup can be at the very bottom of a monthly red candle if it's like a sort of a range break. Could be. So I'm watching all of these for a potential reversal, especially now that we shift to a new month, and looking for the first 1 or 2 weeks to give me something to maybe enter these names. If they are gonna keep on leading, who knows. But anyhow, let's go to the, let's see here, maybe on this list. Actually, let's move this as well over here, and then these names as well, I guess. Or actually, before I do this, let's go through last week's trades. So 22nd of April, Agiba. So at first I did really good on this one from this breakout here. Let's go on the 5-minute chart maybe. Here. Yeah. So I saw this range on the 1 hour chart, and then it popped and had some nice volume, but the risk was too wide for me, for my taste. Let's see here. So here, if I bought the 5 minutes highs and risked the lows, that would have been a, here, 13% risk. So I said, that's too wide for me, I need to find something else. And I was watching the 50-minute chart, hoping for a 50-minute 3-bar play, like this inside candle, but it actually happened on the 5 minutes, which was a bit too fast for my taste. But after it triggered the 50-minute, I zoomed in and I saw this 5-minute pattern, and I said, man, if I get this risk when it comes back, if it comes back and fills this price, and then I can risk the lows of this candle, which I did. So it got filled at a very tight. Man, did I really fill this size? That's absolutely insane. Yeah, I probably did. How many shares? Can't see. 174, 174. So yeah, I got filled on 174, risking the lows here. So now, instead of getting the wider risk, let's see here, what potential did I have? I had, this is overnight, so I had a 13R potential compared to the sloppy risk here, right there, with the 15% risk reward. So here, this is a good example of where if it's not within your percentage of risk, I don't want to risk 15% on this setup because I don't see it going that high. So I want to find a smaller entry, which I did. So compare these two. I mean, you can try this trade for 3-4 times and cut yourself out and still perform better than this safer trade, which did a 4 times risk reward, while this one did a 13 times risk reward. So anyway, I took that, but then actually I sold it out in this consolidation because I thought it was too slow. So let's see. So I did a decent, it was like a 6R something. But then I tilted on it later, I'm gonna show you. ARM, I bought this, got really extended to the downside. You can see this ending volume right here on the 1 hour chart. Had this consolidation in pre-market and after hours. Actually creating this little W bottom. And when it popped in the morning here, I wanted to buy it for a reversal, but still I want to find the tightest risk possible, so I wait for it to pull back. And then once it triggered this 15-minute candle here, I put an order here to fill this gap with this risk, which it did. Let's see here. Yeah. So I love playing these previous candle fills because you can get such nice entries. So instead of like, oh, I'm gonna buy the 15-minute trigger up here and risk you know. Oh, actually, it was at 2.7%. It's a slower name. 2.7%. I could buy it down here and risk 1%, meaning my upside is more than double if I get the wide entry. Anyhow, I got filled here, but I actually got scared on, because I thought after this candle it should consolidate here, but I actually had this nasty 50-minute which almost took me out, and I actually got scared. and I sold it because I thought, nah, it's not the right market for it because everything is falling. It would have been nice though, because my target area was this $100, which it hit a few days later. But I didn't want to hold this overnight because I had no idea why it was falling and if it was going to gap on further. So it would have been an 11-hour trade, but I stopped out for like a half-hour gain because I got scared. And it's not really my setup. This is a shorter term intraday setup, and I had to hold it for, you know, 2 days if I wanted to hit this target. So still happy with that. I played safe and got out, because later this week I'm gonna show you I took some half-ass trades, but I played very safe. So here Agba, let's see, yeah, okay, so I sold in this consolidation, but then I thought, man, maybe it's going higher anyway, because my original idea was to follow it on the 50-minute 9 EMA, the close under it, which it never actually, let's see, where are we? Here. So I'm inside this consolidation, and it's wide and whippy. I'm like, I don't like this price action at all. And after this candle here, I thought, oh man, no way this thing is coming back. People are probably massively shorting this now. But then it reclaimed, respected its range, kinda had this little consolidation, and I wanted to buy the break of it, but I was risking the 50-minute low instead of the 2-minute candle. But I actually got stopped out. Where are we? Here. So yeah, it was, let's see, this is the 5 minutes. Come on. Here. So yeah, I can already see the sort of this line here with this almost shakeout. If you imagine like higher lows here, something. I thought this was a shakeout, and then it came back, so I wanted to buy, but I got stopped out. So now I'm already, if I just stayed in the trade, I'd still have my 6 or 7 R or whatever it was. But now I'm starting to get tilted and get back in. So I take one cut, and then Agba again. I take, let's see, yeah, on this little range here. So I thought, man, it's coming back. And did it even? Oh no, it didn't. Okay, I thought it would go here, like short squeeze here. I was so sure of it, but it didn't. Then it created this range, and still I have the bigger picture in mind that I think it's going higher, but I'm out, and I want back in. So I bought it here, I think, risking the lows, and I probably got stopped out again if I didn't raise my stop. I might have raised my stop actually. I don't remember really. And then Visa has a nice daily potential setup here, but it's not really ready yet. I thought it would go this day. That would be a super quick one, because it came out of this W and reclaimed, and I thought this side of the charts here would continue going. So I'm not sure why I was bottom picking here. Oh yeah, I saw another name similar to this one, and it did exactly this. It triggered in the morning, and then it came back, held the lows of the day, and triggered and went higher. So I actually got a very tight entry here at the lows. Let's see, probably something to do with the 50-minute chart or the 1-hour charts. Oh no, actually no, I remember now. I actually bought the 5-minute opening range highs. That's what I did here. So it dipped, and I thought it could go this day. So it dipped in the morning, and I said, if it reclaims the 5-minute opening range highs, I'm gonna get it, which I did. And I was up, you know, I think I got a tighter risk even, buying 50. So I was up like 5-6 R or something like that. But then this came back, and I had raised my stop to break even. So got stopped out, and then it just wiggled around. Still watching it for something, but it's taking a bit too long. So we'll see if this side holds, creating some sort of a range here. Could be nice, but nothing yet. And this one, oh god damn it. God damn it. So this one I played like I played a few other EPs. I'm not sure if it was an EP or oh, it was just news. It had a new contract or something, and it popped on volume. And again in the morning, the opening range highs was a bit too wide for me to risk. It was 12%. So I've seen this chart before where it dips in the morning and then it triggers the opening range highs. But if then usually the opening range high or low on the 5-minute holds. I've seen this so many times. But still, the 12% risk for me is too wide. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And in this candle, because my idea is that it's an EP with massive volume, good news, coming out of that, kind of too much noise to the left, but could have kept on going here. A bit heavy market, but my idea is that it's gonna respect this 181 area because of this 5-minute candle. So once it came down and didn't break it, and I saw some action on the 1-minute chart, I actually bought it here, and risking 180 here. So super tight risk reward. It held, and then it goes only to here. But this is it's moving quite a big percentage, so, and this is where I get a bit tilted because I'm up how much? 11R in a very short amount of time. And I mean, ask anyone, 11R in, you know, an hour is a very good gain. You should take it. But I just remember in my head the last 2 times I did this and I took my profits too early. I'm just going to explain first what happened here. So I didn't take my profits and I thought it would go. But then eventually at the end of the day it stopped me out. But I want to show you 2 examples of where I took profits on an EP. Or no, I sold the whole position. Here on root, for example. I remember this time when I think I bought it here on the dip after. Actually, I don't know exactly how I treated this, but I got in, stop held, and I sold, bought back and sold, and then I was waiting for dip again to buy back. The dip never came, and it did 200R. And then LSF, same thing here. I remember this chart so well. Let's see here. This one I actually... Oh yeah, okay, so the opening range actually triggered here, and then it took out the 5 minutes, but then it held, and I bought it back here. So a bit different from what I just explained, but yeah, this is what I did anyhow. And I got in, and then I had a 10R sell somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, somewhere in this area. Here. 173s. And I sold for 10R, which is amazing. But then what happened next? I missed out on 40R. Because I sold too soon. And that's what I had in my head when I was watching BOF. And hindsight, the market was falling. And if you're given 11R in a short amount of time, I should probably at least take some off and raise my stop to break even. So I even took a cut on this one, which is so bad. And now let's go further up. INDO. Still watching this. And popped in the morning. Bought the... Again, this is not what I'm... Big picture I'm trying to do. This is just what I've seen. That some charts... I wasn't really... You know, I thought it would go this day. Here. And I've seen some charts when they pop in the morning, then they fall, and you can get a super tight risk reward here if it rallies back late day and creates a new high and consolidates overnight. So this one, for example, where are we? Here. I've had in mind this one could go to the $9 area, which would be enough 50 risk reward. So that's why I'm trying these bottom picking ones, because if I lose 1R, if I can make 50, it's not that big of a deal. But here actually I did not like the price action. I sold it here for a 2 or 3 hour gain or something like that. And T-Pet. This one I sold for break even, I think. Yeah, I bought it here. And I actually wanted to sell it in this area, but it never came there. And then it came back down. And I said, ah, fuck, I'm just gonna sell it for break even, which I did here. And then it popped to my failed setup target, which was this area. But I'm still watching it now because it's still looking amazing so far. So break even on that one. INDO was a 3 hour gain or 2 hour gain. And then Agba, oof, here was very close that I got tilted again. Agba. Where are we? Coming up from this W. Yeah, here. Okay. So I was looking at this and it kind of held up. Let's see, where are we here? And this one last time is squeezed towards the end of the day. Did it here. And so I thought maybe, because it slowly grind higher, and it had so many, you know, signs of that shorts were being underwater. And I thought if it breaks this area, this like W higher low combined with the trend line here, man, that could be something. So, but I never really saw an entry, and I got a bit of FOMO. I actually had a note here, but I removed it. But then eventually I just, even before it broke, I bought my first shares, risking the, let's see, I guess the 1 hour low was my first attempt. And then I don't think I took a screenshot, but I took another entry as it broke the, yeah. So I got my first shares here, and then once we had, I guess, this candle, I think I watched the 15-minute. Yeah, it was a weak break, it didn't close above, but I thought, well, if it triggers here, I'll buy here and raise my stop, and if this goes into the close, I'll keep it. But the danger here is that I did not have my hard stop yet. I was a bit afraid because it wasn't a real setup. And let's see here. So this, I saved it from disaster because it could have been so bad. Because my first entry was not so much size, but with my second entry, my stop loss was just a few cents, you know, or pennies or whatever. And once I got the alarm that my stop was hit, I looked at it for a minute or two, and I'm like, nah, maybe it's gonna come back. Then I said, what the fuck are you doing? Get the hell out. And I sold it. Market sold 273, so basically I think 1 hour or less loss, or actually more, I don't know. But man, if I stayed, because this wasn't my setup, I was just hoping for a late day squeeze. If I stayed here, I mean, every, you know, 1.5% is 1 hour. So that would have been a 10 hour loss if I got tilted and held it, and then hold it overnight, and you, oh my god. So I almost slipped there, almost slipped. And then we have INDO again. Yeah, I failed it this day, got out for 3 hour gain, and this day, I mean, I didn't think it was ready, and a few other stocks was acting weird this day, like CGC popped and it came back, ACB did the same thing, popped and came back, T-Pet didn't really pop, but it did the same thing. And INDO looked really good. I mean, it looked so good. Let's see. Yeah, first I got the entry. Actually, I filled at 444, risking the lows of the day. But I did not want it to come back. So here I was up a little bit, maybe 1 hour. Hoping to, if this one would have kept going, I was hoping for like a 1 hour flag overnight at like the $5 area where I could increase my size on the next day. But then I got my alarm that it failed, this little setup here. My original stop was down here, but I thought, man, I'm not gonna let this thing go to a 1 hour loss because it's not acting like it should. So I sold it for a small cut, like a $5 cut or something, which was nice. So attacking many things, but staying very safe, which I like. And so those were all the trades, basically coming out of the week break even, which is nice because the 2 weeks before this, when the market was falling, I took so many cuts and slippage cuts that my account came underwater quite bad again. And now I'm just trying to be very patient and wait and get these super tight entries on potential big setups. So let's go through what I'm watching. I just gotta show you something here. So in this falling market, I know I bought this gap up here on some news on CGEM, but then it came back, and I took away from my watch list because, you know, the whole market was falling. But then look at this. Look at what it did. I was very right to take my stop, but I could have had the alarm here. I either buy it on this day or on this day, on this consolidation. But again, market is falling, so I should not really be thinking about that. Here, yeah. So this list is kind of my aggressive small to micro cap stocks, and then I have the leaders of the large cap, which I'm preferably waiting for these, but I'm not gonna not trade while waiting for these. If I see some of these smaller names set up, I will take them if the market is right. And so this one is, how many names are there? Yeah, I could probably take a look at all of these more clear on Monday, but I'm just gonna see, this one looks nice, but I'm not gonna trust it in this market. I don't know. Even better would be if it goes like this, comes up again, and then has a few days here. Or maybe together with the earnings. So I'm just gonna go through these names and not really talk much about them. Out of these, of course, there are some that kind of looks maybe nice at some places, but if I look at the market, I'm not really playing those type of setups. So I'm more looking at, I mean, look at this name. Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment stock. Man, that looks nice. I want to invest. What the hell is this? Yeah. Also, what is this? Why am I watching this? Yes, I kind of want to watch the same names as I was watching last week, which is Visa and nah. No. Yeah, still I want to watch Agba. Oh, no volume. Okay. So can't really compare because it has some really nice volume. Now I'm looking for a first green day actually, because it had a first red day. And now it has had 1, 2, 3 red days, because you got the close here, close here, close here, and close here. So there are 3 red days. Now I'm looking for this base to slightly break to the downside and buy a first green day. This one I don't really know yet. Could be nice. It's not acting so good though. We'll see about that. Could be a maybe 1-day trade. CGC did not really like this spike. It's not really showing any price action that I like. It kind of reminds me of Envos when it came back here. I remember it came back and they had a nice setup on this day, but you can look at the range. It was so smooth, and then it popped, had a very nice, you know, 1, 2 blow off over this pivot here, then fell. So it has really nice price action compared to CGC, which is just dog shit. Cause I mean, higher, then it fell, then it popped from this low, and then it, I don't know. It's nothing that I want to look at for now, but I really like TPET. Like I said, TPET, Agba, Visa, Snap, nah, and INDO. So I guess that's pretty much it. A lot of random talking in this video, but I wanted to show my big picture comparison with the Nasdaq and individual leaders and how they go in and out of favor. And you should actually only be focusing on these. If one is setting up, you should very much be focusing on it. And then while you're waiting, maybe play some of these plays. But I've been a bit too random, especially now that the market has been falling. Or actually, I've stayed away quite good. I protected myself. So I lost a lot of money. Not lost. I made some money, then I gave it all back from 1,000 cuts. And then during this period, the first few days before I realized we were falling, I think I took quite a lot of cuts. But now I'm staying really patient, waiting for some really good setups, because the best times to get in is after a shakeout in the market. I'm not talking like right away, but now you can see which stocks are just going sideways and building higher lows. And that's why my watch list is kind of small right now, because in this period I had maybe 70 names and now I have a few. And most of these are crap as well, so I'm gonna clean them away. But so yeah, it feels good. It feels good to wait for hopefully some nice movement from these next week. I mean, they look exactly like this August in 23 here, or July, the end of July. So kind of different, coming out of a bottom. Let's see what the small caps did. July 23 compared to now. July 23. Okay. Okay. So we are falling. It's a bit of a, because there was a nice small cap mania here of a few names for like 1 or 2 weeks. You could have easily double or triple your account in that period. But now we're kind of here, so, or well, I guess it's a higher low, so we could be rallying out of this, consolidating. But the individual stocks will tell. If they break out, I'll take them. Of course, I'll always have my stop loss, so it doesn't really matter. Just thinking of the odds of them actually working. Yeah, we'll see. Thank you for watching. See ya next time.